Okay, for the next session of the class, we're going to work on three-step sparring. Three-step sparring, of course, at yellow belt and green stripe level is done with a partner. We're going to practice it alone. Using the syllabus handbook, this is the colour belt syllabus handbook or the colour belt syllabus handbook for kids. We'll go through and see what the compulsory movements are for each of the grades that do three-step sparring. Yellow stripes who do it alone have to use inner forearm side block, front punch, and flat fingertip thrust. So we have inner forearm side block, front punch, and flat fingertip thrust. Yellow belts, performing three-step sparring, usually with a partner, but today alone, perform knife hand side block, knife hand side strike, and reverse knife hand strike. So your knife hand side block crosses on top, this way. It could be middle or it could be high. So for a middle punch, you do a middle block, but you want to make sure the forearm is blocked with your knife hand. When you've got an opponent, the tool hits the target. When you haven't got an opponent, your fingertips are shoulder height. Knife hand side strike might be an L stance here, or it might be in sitting stance here. Again, crossing on top, relaxing with your elbows down, and lift your elbow to strike from in sitting stance or in L stance. And then the other one was reverse knife hand strike, which again can be done in sitting stance, or you might do it in walking stance, this way. Your reverse knife hand, like your knife hand, get your thumb out of the way. You've got to make sure the thumb knuckles out of the way, so it just kind of runs, your thumb kind of runs parallel to your hand there, and you're striking with this part of your hand. Other hand extends forward, and then swing in with that reverse knife hand. Okay. The three compulsory techniques for green stripe, who then do kicks as their counter attacks, are front snap kick, turning kick, and side piercing kick. Those we've done many of course. Front snap kick, turning kick, and side piercing kick. Three-step sparring, of course, has three of the same attack, and then the defence has three of the same defence, followed by a counter-attack. The ready position for the attacker is always walking stance, forearm low block, and the ready position for the defender is parallel ready stance. So let's do front of the green stripe, the yellow stripe syllabus first, where we've got the inner forearm middle block, front punch, and the flat fingertip thrust. We can actually use all of those in a single sequence. It is good to have 3 or 4 different sequences. We have quite a variety of blocks that we can use. It is possible to do low blocks against things like a front kick. The foot measurements get a lot more complex, so I tend to stick away from that. Maybe a high punch with a high block, where the measurement of the foot isn't quite so complex. So maybe we'll attack with a high punch, and we'll counter attack with a middle punch. And the block we might use could maybe be a forearm outward block. So we'll cross on top and block outward this way. So from here, nice and simple. The attack that you do when you do the attack should match the block that you do when you do the defense and the counter attack. Okay, so imagine that your two halves are the same whole. Here's a couple of examples. For yellow belt, of course, yellow stripes might be able to work with this stuff as well. I'm usually, as an examiner, not so concerned to have a range of movements. At yellow stripe level, I just want to see that they know the sequence and that they're getting good power and their timing and stepping is about right. Once you get to yellow belt, I want to see some variety. So we've got required knife hand side block, knife hand side strike, and reverse knife hand strike. So let's start with a high punch with a high knife hand side block, with a counter attack with a reverse knife hand strike. There are examples in the book that you can use. You can change those examples if you want to, or you can use them exactly as is. Now let's do a middle punch, and we might stick with the inner forearm middle block, but this time we'll counter-attack with the knife hand side strike. Maybe shifting to sitting stance to get a little bit closer to the opponent. The other thing that is worthwhile starting to think about when you're getting to yellow belt level, advanced students, you can work with doing your attacks and your defenses in L stance rather than walking stance. Now remember, when you're attacking in walking stance, you step outside your opponent's foot, then inside, and then outside. When you attack in L stance, because the L stance is narrower, from here I'm going to step inside my opponent's foot, pivoting on the ball of my foot, outside on the second step, and inside on the third. This gives us a really great range of techniques that we can use in our defences and counter-attacks. Remember, the attacker and the defender, if they're the same height, should be in the same stance. And I stick with that for colour belts, or particularly for junior colour belts at this level, always in the same stance, no mixing around of stances, which is only done if the heights are slightly different. Okay, from here, I'm going to do an L stance side punch. And to defend, I'm going to do movement 1 and done good. Okay. Now I might do, I'll stick with, actually I might do a knife hand side strike as my attack this time, something nice and simple. The attack, the ready position is always walking stance, even if the attack's now stance. Now the knife hand side strike is coming around this way, so I have to block it appropriately. So I'm going to use a forearm inward block. Same counter attack. That was a bit lame, wasn't it? So we've got the reverse knife hand strike. Haven't used the knife hand side strike yet. So I'm going to do one with the knife hand side strike. I'm going to stick with the L stance attack and the L stance counter. This time I'm going to do a forearm guarding block.